Sporting Jibberish, I'm Jibberish.
I've lost an arm.
Armless. It's alright, look at this day of me, look at beetroot.
Yeah, you have caught the sun, pal, haven't you? Sports day.
We'll go back to England at the weekend, so
the rain will wash it off.
Tam's going to look tanned. It is like bizarre, like proper. Look at that tan mark on the camera.
Oh yeah.
Working out as well.
Yeah, it's been in the gym, pal.
In other news, right, today's show we're going to talk a little bit about football, as per usual. Quick update about the cricket in the Windies.
Yeah.
And then we've got a little bit of conversation. It's probably very prominent at the moment with regards to a little swimmer, but she's not little. The giant swimmer called Leah Thomas, who is, as you would say in the north, a man mountain. And yes, man being the prevalent word.
Very tall. We'll discuss that. Don't give too much away.
Okay, right. So we will start with.
I've got a question for you actually. When we get to football about FA Cup, because it's your favourite weekend of the year coming up, isn't it? Anyway,
right. Okay, we'll start with Sporting Week. But you've had no games. But who are you playing in the finals?
So we are playing Dubai Rhinos, who won. That can only be explained as an absolute run fest at the weekend. They scored 283 off their 25 overs, and at one point it looked like Top Gunners were going to get them, and then they just fell away at the end. So they ended up 250. So, as my dad said when I was talking to him, either it was an absolute road or there was some bowling. I think it's probably a bit of both.
I was going to say nobody's drafted any players in from higher leagues.
Well, you say this, and this is the problem. And I've said before, and I don't know if on the podcast, but certainly in our conversations, that the problem with UAE cricket is there's not enough structure to it. So you say this. So, for example, the guy got 144 not out off 70-something balls for Rhinos on Saturday. Has played for them the last 3 or 4 games, but he's over here playing from England, which is fine, I'll put with that. But he's also played for a side in the next division up, in the DSL, and in the next division up from that.
Right.
So he's a bit of what you'd probably call a semi-pro back in the UK. And get this, because he did approach us when he first arrived in the UAE, and we spoke to him, but he wanted paying and all that. We don't pay. That we're not that club. And he's been fine about it, but he stayed on. He actually played for us last Tuesday night in the other competition, because we were short of players, and he said, "Look, I'll help you out if you're still short," which we were. So Clint messaged him, "Yeah, I'll help you out." Brought another mate along. Great. He got 100 for us in the week in the game that they won.
Wow.
So you say they've not, but his name in the DSL is not his name elsewhere.
Ooh.
But that's the problem. It's not his fault. That's the issue. So, but your question of the boy is no, he has been playing, but we shall see what happens at the weekend. They're meant to have played at least 2 games prior to the knockout.
Yeah, I remember this was the problem when you were at Exiles, wasn't it? Because there was a bit of a conflict with regards to dragging players in. Yeah,
that's what they were claiming we'd done, which we hadn't. But anyway, we'll see. But the point of the matter is we're at Ajman, which is a completely different wicket, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and I would bet anything that our bowling attack will not go for 280 runs.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a warm one, I can tell you that now.
I know, yeah. So, so we're obviously all looking forward to that training tonight, and then looking forward to that on Saturday.
We wish you luck.
Thank you very much, Stuart. We've done it. So we recorded this early.
So we're recording a little bit early because tomorrow night is going to be mega busy with different events going on, different activities, and then I actually fly Friday at lunchtime. As soon as school finishes, I am running out the door, jumping in a taxi, heading to the airport on a plane at 2 o'clock. So we're going to record this early, but we are due to play tomorrow night against Maserati.
Yeah, Maseratis,
or whatever they're called.
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say it'll be an interesting game because an Arabic team, so you don't know what's going to turn up. Yeah. They could end up. They have like a squad of 40 players. I thought last time we played them, going forward, they looked decent, got on the ball really well, very comfortable on the ball, but the back four were terrible. So I don't know what we're going to play tomorrow night. So it could be a terrible team, it could be a better team, but I think we've got to hold. You've got to fancy yourself winning the league. Oh, sorry.
But the thing is, what are you going to do if they get a penalty?
Miss it. I'm gonna step forward.
I'm going to read you a message I received this morning.
Oh dear.
I received a message. So yesterday we played a school game, didn't we, against the Year 11s. The staff.
This is gonna come.
So staff versus Year 11. Your lads in Year 11.
Yeah, which was I had long shorts on yesterday because he spent most of his time in my back pocket.
Yeah, I mean he didn't. I did fail him for the penalty, but he didn't really have much of a game other than that, did he? And he missed the penalty. Earlier in proceedings, the staff won a penalty. Well, you won the penalty for us.
Yeah.
Stood up, took the penalty. What happened?
Put it wide.
So that's 2-2.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened to me before.
I received this message this morning that said, "I trust that the boos are on penalty practice today. Useless." Who's that for?
No idea.
Shrek. He'd obviously seen the Instagram post from school.
Yeah.
The thing is about that though, I stood next to who was I stood next to? About maybe penalty Dave or maybe I might have even Warby actually, and they were like, "There's no." I think it was Warby said, "There's no point going up there because he's not going to miss." And I said, "He missed his last one." And then so where's he going to go? I'll go keeper's right. After what we talked about on the pod last week.
So what happened was I got the penalty, put it down, and the keeper is obviously a GCSE student of mine, and I was just joking. He was like, "Where do you want it?" And he was like, "Put it here to his left." I was like, "You sure?" He was like, "Yeah, top left corner." So that's where I went. And I know the camera angle has done me no favours, but it went wide by about this much. It literally wasn't far. The keeper turned around to me, as Jed, and said to me, "I thought it was in top corner." He went, "I didn't move because I thought I ain't getting near that." But I think the angle of the footage that's come out and where the ball obviously hits the fence, which is behind, makes it look like I've missed by an absolute.
It was slightly closer than Harry's.
Oh, man. So people that aren't watching, so Harry went to do a Panenka. So I said to Harry, I was like, right, so this is the goal, this is Harry. I said, Panenka angle should be up and drop into the goal. And I went, and then this is what we talk about the fence. This is the goal, and there's a fence, obviously, this far behind, it's quite a distance. So we watched the footage back last night, and it's gone. Still rising as it hit the fence behind it. And I was like, and he's telling me mine was the worst penalty. And no, not a chance.
I do think he went down a bit easy for the penalty, though.
Yeah, well, he did. He taunted you with a little bit. There's a chance to get the ball there, and then as you leapt in, he stepped across.
It was
went down.
20 years ago, I'd have had it.
I did say to him, I said that was a very clever penalty where he won it, but yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't a good penalty. I'll admit that, but I won't be at all approaching a penalty like that in a proper game. I won't be telling the keeper where do you want.
Do not tell me Friday morning that you've won, that you've missed with a penalty.
Not a chance. It's going smash round bottom left.
Harry Kane.
Yeah, it'll go in. I've no doubt about it. But yeah, it was actually a good run out.
It was good fun. I enjoyed it.
Good fun, yeah. But yeah, we won.
Who got man of the match?
Oh, Luffy's got it. I don't know how he got it for fouling Harry, but
it was the rest of it. I was better. Yeah, it was the rest of the performance.
I just love the fact that I said to Harry before, and I said, "Look, this is how it's going to work. You're going to be in my pocket for the first half. Then I'm going to go and change position, and then I'll let you have a bit of ball." So it pretty much happened like that. And he was giving the licks in the lesson, going, I changed position. That's why I got more of the ball. Or you changed position because you were scared I was marking you. But yeah, it was.
It's good fun.
It's good fun. Great group of lads, the Year 11s. It'd be sad to see them go, but yeah.
And more importantly, we won 4-1.
Yes, 4-1.
Magnificent.
Yeah. That's it. Did you haven't seen the footage yet?
I've seen bits.
Did you see that when I set Reece up for the 40-yard ping down the line, and then I ran up to the camera?
I haven't seen that.
Give him a bit of advice. You can hear it on the camera. I'm like, lads, when you watch this back, just look how good that pass is. But yeah, it was good gig.
It was good fun. Yeah.
But yeah, we look forward to it. And like I'm saying, is that if you get to this stage of the season, every game's a must win. I think.
Definitely.
So, yes, we shall see.
Where are we going next?
We will go fuzzball.
Okay.
It's a shocking weekend of football. This is the worst weekend.
The international break.
I'm going back home.
Where's your passion?
I'm going back home.
You should have got some tickets then, shouldn't you?
We even got a game. We've got a game Thursday night, haven't we? I don't think we've got a game on the weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, yeah.
We play Saturday.
Saturday
Switzerland.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it is a bit. I'm not as against the international break as you are, but it's a bit strange how friendlies now, isn't it?
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
You're going to have a full summer off where you could have picked up some friendlies there.
Yeah.
Because you're leading into Qatar now, which is going to be December time.
Exactly. So what purpose are these really for that? Because we're 9 months away from that.
The only reason that they potentially got an international break here is simply because of the qualifiers.
Yeah, the playoffs. Yeah, but the ones who've already qualified, they don't need it, do they? Anyway, we divulge.
Yes. Right. Okay. So last weekend on the Friday night, so Wolverhampton lose to Leeds, which was a real shock for Book, which I don't think anybody really saw that coming. Ireland, was it, got the winner?
Yeah. I mean, he's meant to be right back, he just plays everywhere, doesn't he?
Well, every time I've seen plays, either right back or left back, but yeah, he gets himself at the pitch. There was nothing notable other than the fact that Hartlepool beat Newport County. Just for Jeff, that's just for Jeff.
On Friday, well done, Jeff.
Yeah. And then saw a mixture of one Premiership game and one FA Cup game.
Yeah.
Middlesbrough had done so well to knock out two big guns. Unfortunately, couldn't make it a third.
Yeah.
Fell short, losing 2-0 quite comfortably to Chelsea. Chelsea be happy with that. And even be happier with the draw, I think, in the semis.
Yes.
Because they got Palace.
Palace, yeah.
And then we saw a Premier League game of the day, Aston Villa beating Arsenal 1-0. And I know Arteta's come out and said, yes, we dominated the game, we should have won the game comfortably. And they did get the second, and he talks about getting the second and third goal. Yeah, but Villa have missed some chances to equalise at the end.
As well, I think Gerard alluded to it in the bit of the press conference of his, I saw that actually if they'd come out and played first half, because they were pretty passive and pretty poor first half, that has to be said, but second half they were, like you say, near the end.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, obviously from a Spurs point of view, I was hoping that they were going to nick something at the end there, and I still wonder whether, and I know we spoke about it before, you did, that I wonder whether the fact that Arsenal's squad looks a little bit thin might cost them. I'm hoping it costs them.
I think they're thin at the ground at the back, so any suspensions or injuries there, there'll be...
And goals have dried up a little bit.
Yeah, I know Banging wasn't banging him in, but he looked a threat. Lacazette is nice and the ball just doesn't look like he's going to score.
Yeah.
He might Saka that just picks up the odd goal.
Yeah, I mean, he had another game as well. Another good game. But yeah, anyway.
I wonder how much resolve Arsenal have got in keeping Saka, because I can imagine there's a big few teams out there going, this guy's decent.
And actually, he's quite versatile, isn't he? Because I see, talk about England, I know they've called up the young Mitchell now, haven't they, from Palace, and your man, Walker Peters from Southampton to the squad because of injuries, but there was some talk that they could use Saka at left back.
Yeah.
So he's quite versatile, left wing back.
Yeah, I really rate him. I just wonder if some teams might look at him.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? If somebody like a Man City or somebody comes in and says...
I just think that he'd be very, very highly priced because he'd be in English.
Yeah.
But you couldn't imagine, I wouldn't imagine Real Madrid or Barcelona.
No, but Arsenal have traditionally been, a bit like us, our selling side.
Yeah.
Particularly at the minute.
I will cover the Premier League games first, then we'll go to the FA Cup one. So Leicester beat Brentford 2-1. Leicester quite comfortable. 2-0. Two very, very good goals. Do you say Castagna?
Oh, Castagna too.
Yeah, hit an absolute rocket into the top
actually.
corner, and then Madison hit a great free kick, and then Brentford get one at the end just to make it a little bit more nervy for them. But big 3 points for Leicester. I think it puts them back into the top half of the table now.
Which has got to be the minimum, hasn't it, for Leicester?
Yeah, I think any of this season's been a bit
they've
of a
gone
disaster.
through all right in the Europa Conference in there, aren't they? So they've got half a chance of winning that, I would suggest. But
And then there was a battle in you'd say the top 7 teams.
Yeah.
Top 7, top 8, for trying to push for that 4th place. And talk us through it. You won 3-1.
Yeah, but probably should have been more than that. Probably more comfortable than what 3-1. Bear in mind the third goal was fairly late on. 2-0 up quickly, missed some more chances before we let them in from a set piece again, just before half time, but held on, and then, to be honest, controlled the game. Kane a hat-trick of assists, Son with 2 goals. Ironically, again, he didn't play very well, Son. If he was on his game, he would have, even that game, would have had a lot more. He's not even running with the ball particularly well, but
scoring goals.
Yeah.
That's what you pay the big bucks for.
Correct. No matter how many, isn't it? But to be honest, we'd be very comfortable. Impressed again with Bentancur in the middle of midfield. I thought he sort of glides around the pitch a little bit and got a bit of nous about him. I think he got a bit of nastiness in him, which I think you need. Just wish he was a little bit more creative from third. But Yeah, I mean, it could have been more. If Reguilon could actually track the football, I mean, I think Kane put him through 3 times and he didn't get one shot off on goal.
So, obviously, this new midfielder, the Juve boy.
Yeah.
Ex-Juve boy. Where does that leave Højbjerg or Winks in the long run?
Well, I think Winks will go. So, Højbjerg's got the nod at the minute alongside him because Skip's injured. So, Skip would obviously not going to get rid of Skip. He's the future. So, I would suggest that in a clear out in the summer, Winks will be the one that will miss out. It looked like it could be Højbjerg 4 or 5 weeks ago, but he sort of, I don't know if he stumbled across it or whether Højbjerg just needed a bit of a rest, because again, like we talked before about the England players, Højbjerg has had a big 2 years and then didn't sort of started off the season well, so maybe he had his dip in mid-season, but it looks like they're the 2 he's settled on at the moment, with Skip would probably be the next one. So I would suggest that probably Winks will go, I would have thought. Yeah. And probably needs to for his own career as well.
Yeah. Would we be interested in picking up Winks?
I mean, if he's a bit of a London boy, so you'd think anybody, Brentford could stay up, Brentford, Palace, people like that.
Keep an eye out for that. And then we had the FA Cup. Crystal Palace 4, Everton 0. I watched this game and the first 20 minutes was all Everton. They absolutely pounded Palace. Yeah. High press, played really well, created some good chances, just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And then it was almost, I think it was on the first corner, Palace score, header, bang, then a couple of minutes later, 2-0. And then they did try and change it up, Everton, second half. They brought Calvert-Lewin on with almost like two strikers, tried to push further forward, left gaps, Palace punished. So reflection of the full game, it wasn't a 4-0 scoreline. But saying that, that's 4 goals conceded for Everton again. Away from home. You've really got to, and I keep saying it, and people keep going, no, they'll be okay. There's a worry that if they keep conceding this amount of goals, and I'm not being disrespectful to Palace, if you're conceding 4 against Palace, what is going to happen when you play against a team that's a little bit better up front?
I played golf at the weekend with some of the cricket boys, and Avi's mate was over from the UK, never met before, Ben, lovely chap, Scouser, Everton fan.
And that's even going to win.
But I was talking, it's funny you say, he thinks he'll go down. Because he said the club is an absolute mess. He's quite happy with the appointment of Lampard, because he said it got to the point where who else you're going to get, which is a very fair comment. But he said the club over the last 2 years is an absolute mess. And obviously, looks like us being fans, he will know a lot more about the in workings or the rumour mill, etc., etc. He said it's an absolute mess. It needs to clear out. But obviously, he said the fear is going down. There's no guarantee you get back up. You've seen what's happened to other big clubs. And they are undoubtedly a big club. They are one of England's biggest clubs. Forget about, trophies at the minute or whatever. They are one of England's traditional clubs, if you like. So it'd be sad to see them go, but they're in bother.
Yeah.
I know that's FA Cup, but they are in big bother.
Yeah, there is a worry there. But maybe coming out of the cup might be a blessing in disguise for them.
Towns, I saw him get injured. Did we know news of this? It didn't look good. That.
No, he didn't look too good. I think it looked like his knee ligaments, and it was just from this.
Because he started well.
He blocked the clearance.
Yeah, and then he just sort of stumbled on it.
And then it just kind of opened his knee out, so not so good. The other game that day, Southampton, Man City. I watched some of this game, and again, it was another strange one because Southampton didn't play overly bad.
I didn't see any of it. So I saw Foden strike.
Yeah, and Foden literally came on the pitch, the ball bounced to him, he just turned his hit, it was lefty, half volley, and it's just gone in like a rocket.
Where do you think his best position is?
I don't know. I'd say if you were to play him in England, if you had somebody like Kane leading the line rather than Kane dropping in, and you had him in that pocket, he'd be very, very dangerous.
Do you think he could play midfield? Like Gaza? He just reminds me of Gaza on the ball.
I just think he's a bit
lightweight.
Bit weak.
I think that's going to be his biggest problem. Is
so small.
Where is his best position?
Yeah, he kind of floats around. But they started Grealish as the false nine start.
But
it was a strange game again. I don't think 4-1 reflects the game properly, but Man City won't care. It's 4 goals. It's a place in the semi-final
against you boys.
Against us, which will be an interesting game. And I know we're going to talk about this in a bit, but Forest. Before we talk about anything else, got to doff my cap to them. Great little thing they did. They sectioned out 97 seats.
So is that the first time they've met in the cup since then?
Since then, since that fateful day at Hillsborough. So I just thought it was a really lovely touch from Forest. Forest are a decent outfit. They tried to press quite high. Liverpool had a few half chances, just didn't really put it to bed. I think Bobby went through on the goalkeeper, tried to sit the keeper down and just scoop it over him, but the keeper stayed big and got his hand to it.
He's a bit crackers, that keeper, by the way, isn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think we were ever really under the strain of going, oh my goodness, we could lose this. I just felt like we were just comfortable and we were just going to kind of cruise on through. And then when you've got the firepower Liverpool have got to change your front three or the midfield.
That's right, and that's the difference between them and the Championship side there.
Oh yeah, and it was good because there was Joe Gomez got some more time under the belt. It's good to see him back playing. Obviously, they'll be looking how bad his hamstring is, Trent's, to see how much the game time to get Gomez. But he's not going to offer the capability of delivering the balls, but he's not bad at crossing.
No, he's not.
And defensive-wise, he's a better defender.
Yeah.
So
which you might need going into these.
Yeah,
because they're going to be dogfights.
We've literally got City in the FA Cup and City in the league in the next few weeks.
So let's go to the FA Cup then. It's a semi-final. So I've got a couple of questions for you, and it's reared its head again because of the Chelsea thing more often than not. But I've been thinking about this a long while. So we've got, why on earth do they insist on taking? I do know the answer to it, financial. But why on earth do they insist on taking semi-finals to Wembley when it always used to be neutral venue like Villa Park, Hillsborough we talked about. But you've got two northern clubs, Manchester, Liverpool. Why are we taking them all the way down to Wembley for a semi-final? It takes away the glitz and glamour, I think, of reaching Wembley for the final, for the Wembley Cup final. And again, I know we're kind of hopefully coming out at the end of the pandemic. Why on earth are we mixing so many people? I just don't get it.
Yeah,
and surely to goodness, I know it's good for the players to play at Wembley. It has in the past given the odd lower league side that have got to that far to play at Wembley that they might not get a chance to. I understand all that, but come on, semi-finals should not be played at Wembley.
I don't know. I think it's a great opportunity, like you're saying, it's more for the lower level clubs that can get the semi, because I think it's the worst stage to go out on.
Oh, definitely.
Because you are literally, I'd prefer to lose in the final than lose the semi. 100%. Because you're so close to it. So I think there's an element of giving people that stature. But I've just heard this morning that trains are on strike that week. Oh, they're not on strike, sorry. They're all under maintenance from the north of England to London. So there is no actual trains running on that day that they've just placed the FA Cup. And you're like, that is crackers. And you are right. I've been involved in different cup competitions. We played, as Lancashire under 16s boys, we played Manchester in the final and they put us in commentary. So there was no fans there because it was too far for parents and stuff to go. Yeah. And you just thought, you could have just based this in Liverpool, which would have been half and half a risky. But you are right in that aspect, but I just think that would a Liverpool fan want to go and play Old Trafford in the semi-final? Would a Man City fan?
No, but I wouldn't take them now. I'd take them to, I don't know, where's else? Ellen Road, get some atmosphere going. It's not as big, but I don't know. But I just don't think they should go. I've said it for a long time.
I just wonder if there's an element of, you go back so many years of football idiots, that you couldn't then go to another major city because potentially going to get 3 rival fans in one area, and what a mess that would be.
Possibly, but I mean, they take England internationals around the country now, so I don't see what the difference is really. But anyway, there's a few crazy things around it. I like the Wembley. I think there's an element of fun and good day out for the fans. If you don't even make the final, at least you've had that element. But for them to put it on the weekend where maintenance work is going to be happening on train lines, is stupid. But these are the people who think that VAR is perfect, so let's not expect too much from them.
No. Right. Do you want to go with, was that your question, or you got another question while we're doing things?
That was my question.
That was your question, right, okay. So we're going to move over to cricket.
Cricket, yeah.
Over at Windies.
Yes.
England.
Yes.
Are back.
Didn't win. Got a draw. So, again...
Didn't lose.
I got another encouraging performance. I think there's some signs. So again, it looked like it was going to peter out into a draw. England managed to bowl them out. West Indies out on the fourth evening, then get 40 off for no wicket. And to be fair to them, on the fifth morning, there was only ever going to be 2 winners at that point. They did come out, and from ball one, give them the due, they played with freedom. Like Lees, who's obviously trying to prove himself, hold out early for only 30, when it would have been so much easier for him to just, come on, give me a net for a day, let me get a test match 100 or whatever. But they tried to win the game. They managed to get to a 280 lead. And I think Jibberish said it himself, I think they should have come out a bit earlier. I think they should have tempted Windows a bit more with less of a score, risked losing to win. Because as soon as they went above 250 in the overs, they were never going to try and win it.
Yeah.
And they went so far that then if you change innings, you lose 10 minutes. So they ended up going to lunch, so they didn't lose that. So they declared over lunch, so they didn't lose the 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which I got that once I got so far. I kind of got that, but I think they should have come out a little bit earlier. I do understand why, because if he's in a no-win situation, because if they come out earlier and they'd lost the test match, it would have been criticised. Yeah. And then as it was, they did look like they were 90 for 5 with a fair amount of time left, but then they didn't get the 5th wicket. So again, they were probably, like in the first test match, they were on the right side of the draw, if you like. Bit more positive cricket, Root got another 100, Stokes, good to see him, but there was something not quite right with him in the Ashes. I don't think he was fully match fit.
Yeah.
I think he kind of went out there probably undercooked, and I think you saw that really. So that's good to see him back. Crawley got 100. I know he didn't like this test match. Actually, I tell a lie. He got a good 40 or second innings. So yeah, some good positives again. So we'll see what happens. Rumour is that the pitch is exactly the same in Granada as it is in the other two. So I think if that's the case, they need to be brave and play 2 spinners.
Ooh.
2 spinners, 2 seamers and Stokes.
We shall see.
There we go.
Right, so we have come across, and everybody would have heard about this, I was going to say a young lady, I think she's a young lady, Leah Thomas, okay, who has just recently won the Florida 500 freestyle title based in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The only difference is that Leah used to be a bloke.
Transgender.
She's a transgender. We class it transgender now. So
transgender athlete, yeah.
Yeah, so she's now a transgender athlete who has now competed as a female. The image that you see on social media doesn't do, I think, the whole story or her any favours.
No.
Because Leah looks like a 6'3" bouncer in comparison to the 3 female athletes that are on this picture, who look around about 5'6", 5'5", and really small and frail. So there's obviously a few issues around this, and the actual governor, Ron DeSantis, has actually proclaimed that the runner-up Emma Weyant as the winner of the highest US national college swimming title, as she lost it to Leah. So obviously he's gone, Leah shouldn't compete because she's transgender, so it's raising its head once again. The interesting thought process, and I don't know Leah or whatever.
I think the thing is, it's not her fault, is it?
It's not.
She's not breaking any, as a president, she's not breaking any rules or laws in female athletes. She's transgender, female now, so therefore, under current rules and regulations in the world, she can compete in the female category.
That is correct, but I think there's the contentious issue around this is Leah Thomas, when competing in the men's division, which the last race, I think pre-COVID, was 2018-2019, she was ranked 554th in the event, and now is considered the top 5 as Leah Thomas. So I think for a lot of people, it's gone, they look at the facts of, beforehand, Leah was 554th, now has moved over into the female category, ranked in the top 5.
And it's funny because I just said to you before we started, one of our students is doing part of his course. They have to do what's called a reflective project, like an essay about something ethical linked to his BTEC studies, and he's doing about transgender female sports or females in female sport. And we had a good conversation about it. So I think we all came to an agreement that actually, one, it's nothing again socially transgender is socially acceptable if that's, people are obviously feel not right in their own body, or that's absolutely fine, not an issue. Those compete, like in that case, the transgender, she's not broken any laws or rules. But that's not fair. A transgender female competing female is not fair because just physically and genetically it's not fair.
You're completely correct. So I was going to say to you then, suggest this, is that if you are male moving into female, why should you be allowed to compete female? Why are you not still competing in male? Even though you do not recognise it, but genetics says you are still male. That's
the other argument, is it? I think personally, because
I don't think it's enough to have a transgender.
Yeah, well, I think
that you would literally, it's either going to be stay where you are or move on.
Yeah, I think that, I don't disagree with you, but I think society will say that that's not fair for that person to do that either in terms of their mental well-being. So I think the way forward, and it's way off, I think, but I think what should happen, there should just be transgender games, particularly individual sports where it has such a big difference. And the other problem is, which is based around, and I don't know whether that article infers it about Leo at the weekend, and we know nothing about her, so I'm not suggesting that this is the case, but in our debate we had the other day, and what I said was, remember, there are some people who will do anything to win.
Yes.
So Ben Johnson took drugs to beat Carl Lewis, and there's been countless stories of athletes in lots of different sports, even in horse racing, where they're doping horses in order to win.
Very prevalent at the moment.
Correct. So people will do that. I wouldn't do that. I'll win. I'll do everything I can to win within the remit of the sport, but you'd never do it outside of that laws of the game. And what we came to the conclusion was that, unfortunately, there are people out there who will use this loophole. Because if they suddenly... We couldn't really think of any sports where it worked the other way, but there must be some. But there will be people out there thinking, I can run the 100 metres in 9.9. Well, I'm never going to beat Usain Bolt, whatever's there. But that would make me the fastest woman on the planet.
Yeah.
Can I manipulate the system for a period of time? And that is completely wrong also, because that devalues those people who do generally want to go through and need to go through to the transgender and all that kind of stuff. But it's not right. That's not right, is it?
No,
and it's not transgenders. It's not right. It's them competing.
Yeah, I think is it Cole's come out and said Lord Cole.
Lord Cole
come out and said it's a bit of a fragile situation because you take nuts and crannies. There's one less biological woman now competing in that activity.
Yeah.
Which could have been something that inspires somebody else to compete, which then has a potential knock-on effect. So I think something needs to be done. Something needs to be said, but I just don't think there is enough transgenders in each sport to have it their own elite level.
Yeah, elite level, yeah. But you're right, and it's fragile because so many people, and you're a PE teacher, so you do it from the ground upwards, that women's sports come so far in terms of its quality, its recognition. Look at the amount of money that top female athletes are earning, and rightly so, for this to then potentially sort of, like you say, take female athletes the chance of competing, something's got to be done.
Yeah. I think it's just a very, very difficult situation for anybody to come up with the correct answer. They'll make a lot of money, I reckon.
Yeah. It won't be me or you.
No, definitely not. Right, so obviously we've mentioned that this week is International Week.
Yeah, you can't wait, can you?
Well, the only saving grace, I'm a bit disappointed because I'm heading back to UK this weekend. So the idea there was like, I wonder if we can go Anfield, get a game in, do that. Or even just a day with the lads, sat in an English pub, just watching football.
Weatherspoons, £2.50.
Yeah, and breakfast included. But yeah.
And extras.
Yeah, but unfortunately that is out the window. We'll have to watch crappy England play Switzerland in a non-entertaining game.
Yeah, where there'll be 25 substitutes.
Yeah, so I'll never really get going. So our next game is not until the 2nd of April, so we've got to wait a week.
The nephew will be out here by then.
Yeah, well,
no, he won't actually. He's fine that day.
I keep getting confused with the date.
The
wife's mum and dad will be here though, so Kath and Eddie will be amongst us.
Eddie, we're going out, Eddie.
I do. The interesting was, who will want to go out for that second one, is that Liverpool win their next game against Watford and will leapfrog Man City, who then play literally an hour or so later. And good news, clocks will have gone back, so our kickoffs will be now 6 o'clock.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
We're cooking on gas.
That means we can have all nighters.
Yeah,
which is still get 4 hours in.
Yeah, so much better for us. But will be interesting. I wonder if that just applies a little bit of pressure. I'd expect not, because I think Man City are good enough and will push on. And they've got Burnley away, so it won't be an easy game, but I think they'll walk.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing because, we've always said run points on the board, runs on the board, all that does make a difference. And completely different. It certainly cost Tottenham the year that Leicester won the league because for some reason, we kept playing Monday night for about 3 or 4 weeks. Leicester were then nipping 1-0. It was this period of time where Vardy stopped scoring, but like Morgan would score off his butt cheek in the 97th minute.
That's exactly what you need at that time of the year.
Of course it is, yeah. But it built pressure on a young Spurs side on the Monday night.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely an element of pressure building on City.
Definitely.
I just think that they've been there, done that.
I still think the lack of strikers is going to cost them.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But quickly before we finish, we'll just fancy football.
I did alright actually.
How many did you get?
I don't know.
So you say you did alright.
No, I think I did do it. 90 something. I got a feeling.
No, you
60 something.
I was going to say 90 something.
67. 67. Got more than you.
Yeah, but you've not got overall more than me.
Nah,
so
not yet.
That's the key aspect. It's not going to happen. I could pull my team out now. You still won't be that score.
Nah.
No.
But who won this week's winner?
This week's winner is a surprise.
Was it?
It is. It is.
He didn't, did he?
It is the old guru, the boy who brings the jam.
Did he bring the jam?
He brought the jam this week. So congratulations, Jam. I don't even know how he pronounces that.
Jam Caesar. I think it's trying to be cool.
Yeah, SNZ. SZN.
Jam Caesar.
Yeah, Ian Larkin, congratulations, you are the winner.
Larks, I'll drop it round, pal. He's not very well, so.
Yeah, might cheer him up.
Yeah, I'll come and rub some Vic on your chest, mate.
Beautiful.
And bring you a voucher.
Awesome. Sounds
very
like a
good.
plan.
Right, time to go, isn't it?
It is.
Home
But at
time.
the end of the day, Jan.
What do we know?